So yeah, obviously the third generation of Ryzen CPUs are no joke. I mean, not only are the core and thread counts continuing to grow, but a Ryzen 7 3700X, which isn't even AMD's most high-end in terms of ranking, outperforms Intel's flagship 9900K. So with all of that said, I think that you shouldn't buy any third gen chips at all whatsoever. Just joking. No, Zen 2 is definitely something to look into. For the first time in a long time, AMD is ahead of Intel in gaming performance. Not only do you get great performance in workloads such as video editing, but with that you can also get better performance in games. Now, the reason why I say you should maybe overlook the third generation is because of this. Yes, you can see this perfectly fine. So let's take a look at a parts list I've created and compare it to the new generation. So right here I have a Ryzen 3 build. For the CPU, you can get a Ryzen 3 1200 for around $50, sometimes less. It is only a quad core. Wow. Amazing that 2 or 3 years ago a 4-core CPU was considered as premium. Intel made you pay more for more expensive platform to get more cores and threads. Anyways, the clock speeds aren't impressive compared to later gen chips, but you do get a pretty modern and capable architecture. You of course can overclock, which with Ryzen is easier than you'd think. For the motherboard, you could get something new, but while I feel you don't need to drop $100 plus on a decent board, this still shouldn't be crapped out on. Even looking for deals on eBay, nothing really stood out. I did see some good deals like a B350F Strix for under $70, but honestly, this ASRock B450M Pro-F has 4 DIMM slots, which is all I always recommend for upgradability. It has 2 M.2 slots, VRM heatsinks, and USB Type-C. For $74.99 is perfect for this CPU. For memory, an 8GB kit new for around $40 is easily achievable. Since the board I selected supports dual channel, running 2x4GB kit that's as fast as possible, at least keeping the price reasonable, is optimal. So adding all the core components together, this will set you back around $164.99 give or take. If we compare the same config with 3rd Gen Zen 2, the 3200G is the only Ryzen 3000 CPU, or so it seems anyways. The 3200G is priced right under $100, which just about any Ryzen 3 has been priced at. And with that price doubling the cost of the 1200, you'd be looking to closer to $215. Now, the 3200G has integrated graphics, so there is a lot of great value there, but obviously you can see where this is going. Chips like the 1400 and 1600 are better value considering they can be had for around $60 and $80 respectively. But the 2600 is about $150, and I'm assuming that the 3rd gen offering would be the same, meaning that you'd be saving about $70 if you could get a 1600 rather than the Zen 2 offering. This is pretty great considering that with that saved cash, you could get more RAM or maybe a better graphics card. As great as all of this sounds though, what's the catch? Have you ever seen a video comparing, say a 2nd gen Intel CPU to a 6th or 7th gen one? Well, you've probably heard this at least once that the IPC improvements or gains aren't all that big, and that's how it was until Intel actually made faster CPUs with their 8th generation. But when you look at all the CPU generations from Intel, the overall performance improvements and efficiencies are much greater when you look at, say, the i7 980X compared to the 9900K. Ryzen 1st gen compared to 2nd gen, the performance gain isn't about 10 to 15%. I don't know the specifics, but bear with me. A friend of mine was telling me how he had upgraded a CPU to a Ryzen 5 1600, but I was confused because 2nd gen was out and it wasn't like the 2600 was any more expensive than the 1600, so yeah. It's too late and doesn't really matter, but now he's just lost out on a faster CPU. The die shrink from Zen to Zen Plus was pretty minimal, but with the combination of 7nm, faster clock speeds, and various technology improvements, the 3rd generation will undoubtedly outperform their predecessors. So, should you even consider these cheap Ryzen CPUs? If you can get a 3rd gen chip, then by all means get it. Right now, AMD has the fastest mainstream CPUs with the most cores, so it would be foolish if anything to even consider Intel. But if you live in an area where you don't have access to local deals, while they aren't the latest or greatest, Ryzen 1st gen chips are anything but obsolete. Considering the price of performance ratio, they will crush other older budget options due to their single-threaded advantage. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know in the comments section and I'll do my best to get back to you. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button. While you're there, consider subscribing to the channel and enable notifications for more quality tech videos. Anyways, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.